A human mechanic revives an abandoned ship, turning it into a galactic war machine. The desert winds of Varun. 5 swept across the abandoned shipyard, carrying clouds of red dust that clawed at the edges of Kale Draven's goggles. The planet was far from the bustling trade routes, a place most beings had long forgotten. But for Kale, it was a goldmine of forgotten technology, a place where relics of the past waited for someone clever enough to bring them back to life. Kale wiped the sweat from his brow and squinted at the horizon.
Rusted frames of starships jutted from the sand like the skeletons of fallen giants.
Most were useless, broken beyond repair, stripped of anything valuable. But he had a hunch today would be different. Breaths. His instincts rarely failed him. Something big out there, he muttered, stepping carefully over twisted metal and corroded pipes. His boots crunched against the sand, and his eyes caught a faint glimmer under a mound of debris. Heart racing, he crouched and began brushing away the dust. It took a few minutes before the shape revealed itself. The massive hull of a warship, larger than any he had ever seen. The surface was scarred and pitted from years of neglect, yet the design was unmistakably human, a sleek, angular frame that screamed power and efficiency. Unlike the alien designs scattered across the yard, this ship was built to last. Kale's mind buzzed. The legends weren't lies. Some said humans had once built warships so advanced that entire fleets feared them.
If this ship was one of those, even half functional, it could change everything.
He climbed onto the hull, testing its weight. Surprisingly, it held firm, though it groaned under his weight like a living creature waking from a long sleep. He ran his hand along the surface, feeling the intricate network of conduits beneath the plating. Many were broken, but some still hummed faintly with residual power.
"This is amazing," Kale whispered. "You've been waiting for me, haven't you?" Kale had spent years scavenging, repairing, and improvising.
He was known across several systems as a mechanic who could make the impossible possible. Aliens often mocked him for relying on intuition and simple tools, but Kale knew humans had a gift: creativity. When faced with a problem, they didn't just follow instructions, they invented solutions. And right now, he had a challenge that would push that gift to its limits. He set to work clearing the wreckage around the entrance hatch. The outer doors were rusted shut, and the locks were fried. Kale pried, hammered, and twisted with his custom tools, sweating as he listened to the protests of metal. After an hour, he finally managed to open a section of the hatch. Inside, darkness greeted him, thick and oppressive. The air was stale, tinged with a metallic scent of long-decayed machinery. Kale flicked on his portable lights, revealing a cavernous interior. Control panels were shattered, wires dangled like vines, and scorch marks streaked the walls. Despite the damage, he could see potential.
"The AI core..."
"If I can get it running again," Kale muttered, his mind racing. He had salvaged ship AIs before, but nothing of this scale. This one would be a challenge, but he thrived on challenges. Kale's first priority was the bridge. He made his way through the corridors, careful to avoid collapsed sections. Every step echoed, and every corner seemed to hide secrets. Psst. Old alien scavengers had left behind traps and looters had stripped some areas, but the core systems were still intact. At the heart of the ship, he found the AI chamber. The core was a large crystalline structure embedded in a frame of polished alloy. Dust coated it like a thick blanket, and several conduits had been severed. Kale examined it closely, noting the damage. "This is going to take time," he said aloud, tapping the crystal gently. "I have to." Hours passed. Kale moved with meticulous care, patching circuits with human ingenuity, improvising where alien tech didn't make sense, and bypassing broken systems with sheer determination. His hands were blackened with grime, and his clothes were torn, but he didn't stop. Grasping in no matter how small brought a spark of hope. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the desert in shades of orange and red, KL sat back and looked at the ship. It wasn't ready to fly yet, but it was alive in a way. Faint lights flickered along the hull, and the ship emitted a soft hum, as if acknowledging his efforts. But Kale wasn't alone. A distant hum reached his ears, foreign and mechanical. He froze. Through the settling dust, he could make out shapes approaching, sleek alien ships glinting under the dying sun.
Kale knew what they wanted. Word of a massive, abandoned human warship would attract attention.
And not all attention was friendly. He sprinted to the nearest docking bay and triggered emergency locks, hoping to hide the ship's systems. The alien scavengers were fast, but they weren't human. They followed patterns, predictable in their arrogance. Kale grinned, wiping sweat from his brow. Time to see if human ingenuity still beats alien tech, he muttered. Breaking difficulty set up improvised defenses. Magnetic traps in the docking bays, alarmed pressure plates in the docking bays, alarmed pressure plates in key corridors, and makeshift drones that scouted the area. Each step was improvised, each defense simple but clever. The aliens would underestimate them, and that would be their mistake.
The first skirmish was quick.
2 alien scavengers entered the ship, expecting an easy claim. Instead, they triggered a net of magnetic clamps, sending them crashing to the floor. Panting, Kyle watched from the shadows, heart pounding, as the ship groaned and hissed, responding to his commands.
Not bad for a first day,
he whispered. When the aliens retreated, Kale realized something important. This ship was more than just metal and circuits.
It had potential. With time, it could be more than abandoned. It could be a symbol of human resilience, a testament to ingenuity, a war machine unlike anything the galaxy had seen in centuries. He spent the night under the open sky, staring at the stars.
The desert was silent now, but in his mind the ship's hum was a promise that the galaxy had not seen the last of humanity's cleverness. That humans, though small and underestimated, could rise in ways others could never imagine. By dawn, Kale had made his decision. The ship would leave Varun 5. He would tow it to his hidden workshop on a nearby asteroid, far from prying eyes. There he would begin the real work, revival. Not just a ship, but a force. A human marvel. As he prepped the ship for towing, Kale allowed himself a rare smile. The scavenger faction would return, yes, but they would be in for a surprise. Aliens often dismissed humans as fragile, chaotic, and unpredictable. But Kale knew something they didn't. Unpredictability was humanity's greatest weapon. The engines whirred faintly as the ship acknowledged him. It was ready to move, ready to follow his command. Pale climbed into the cockpit, hands resting on the controls, feeling a thrill he hadn't felt in years. "Let's go home," he said. As the derelict warship lifted from the sand, its massive hull casting long shadows over the desert, Kale felt a surge of hope. The galaxy was dangerous, yes, but humans had something no alien faction could replicate: creativity, courage, and the refusal to give up. And this ship was proof. Far on the horizon, alien scavenger ships watched silently, their sensors blinking. They underestimated Kale, just as all had before. That would be their first mistake. The journey had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same. The asteroid station hummed quietly in the void. A forgotten rock transformed into a hidden workshop. Phew! Kale Draven maneuvered the massive derelict warship into its cavernous hangar. Its hull, scarred and battered, glinted faintly under the station's dim lights. He had spent the last day towing it across the void, carefully avoiding patrols and scavengers who might have tried to claim it. The ship groaned as it settled into position, like a giant beast finally resting after a long sleep. Kale climbed down from the cockpit, his boots clanging against the metal floor. He ran a hand over the ship's hull and smiled. "This is it," he said. "Time to bring you back to life." Kale's workshop was small, crowded with tools, alien tech scraps, and old human schematics he had collected over the years. It wasn't much, but it was enough for him to work miracles. And this was going to be his greatest miracle yet. The first step was the AI core. Kale had studied the design for hours during the journey, and he knew it wasn't completely dead. Some circuits were fried, and others were corroded, but the core had a self-repair protocol built in. If he could just bridge the damaged systems, he could awaken it. Rest. Kale worked tirelessly, connecting salvaged circuits, improvising interfaces, and carefully replacing broken conduits. His hands were blackened with grime, sweat running down his temples. Every so often, he paused to test a connection, or consult an old human blueprint. Finally, he sat back and activated the core. Lights flickered along the crystal, and a soft hum filled the chamber. The AI spoke, its voice echoing in the vast room. "Awakens me?" Kyle jumped slightly, startled but thrilled. "I'm Kale Draven. I'm here to repair you, and maybe fly you again." There was a long pause. Then the AI spoke, curiosity in its tone.
"Human! It has been centuries since a human touched this ship. Why?" Kale smiled. "Because humans never give up."
"We make do. We survive. And sometimes we create things even better than the originals." "Very well, Kyle Draven. I will cooperate. But know this. I am capable of war beyond comprehension. Handle me wisely."
Hey! Kale's heart raced. He had just awakened a warship AI.
One of the most advanced machines ever built. And now, it recognized him as its captain. "Don't worry," Kale said. "I know what I'm doing." The next step was testing the ship's systems. Kale moved through the corridors, checking engines, weapons bays, and life support. Many systems were damaged, but some still functioned. Ross. Using salvaged alien parts and human ingenuity, he improvised repairs, patching gaps in technology that no standard protocol could fix. During this process, Kale met his first real challenge. The ship's adaptive shields were offline, and he needed them functional before the alien scavengers returned. He studied the alien shield schematics he had scavenged over the years and combined them with human designs. By the end of the day, the shields hummed softly, like a living barrier ready to protect the ship. Satisfied with progress, Kale called in his only allies, Sprocket, a small AI drone he had built himself, and Jarek, a former alien pilot who had defected to humanity years ago. "Sprocket," Kale said, "you'll help me map the ship's systems. Jarek, I need your knowledge of alien tech to adapt the engines and weapons." PUMPCTC. Think of this as improvisation, human style.
Jarek raised an eyebrow.
"You're insane. But I like it."
Let's see if your human tricks can really work. Sprocket whirred and beeped, scanning every corridor.
Yeah. Mapping complete in 6 cycles. it chirped. Preliminary analysis shows potential for full operational status with human ingenuity applied. Kale grinned.
Exactly.
Let's get to work. Days turned into weeks.
Kale and his team labored tirelessly, reviving the derelict ship piece by piece. They repaired engines, rerouted power conduits, and installed makeshift control interfaces. Every step was a mixture of genius and improvisation, a testament to human adaptability. The alien tech was precise and rigid, but Kale's approach was fluid, unpredictable, and effective. During one late-night session, Kale tested the ship's weapon systems. The lasers flickered, then roared to life, piercing through the simulation screens he had set up in the hangar.
"Did you see that?"
Kale said to Jarek. "That's human problem-solving. No one expects improvisation to work in real-time combat. But it does." Jarek nodded, impressed despite himself.
Humans, you really are unpredictable.
The AI observed silently from the bridge. "Your methods are unconventional," it said.
"But effective. Curiosity."
I am beginning to understand why humans survive.
For Kale, the highlight was the ship's self-repair modules.
Using a combination of alien nanotech and human engineering, he modified the system to patch damage faster than the original design allowed. It was crude, yes, but effective. A human touch had made it better. Yet all progress had a shadow. The alien scavenger faction had discovered his trail. They sent probes and small strike teams to locate the ship. One day, while Kale was deep in the engine room, alarms blared. "Scanners detect multiple incoming ships," Sprocket squeaked. Cal's mind raced. "We're not ready for a fight yet." "Row. Not full weapons. But we can defend ourselves." He activated the traps he had prepared during the ship's initial restoration. Magnetic nets, laser tripwires, and improvised drones created a chaotic defense grid. The alien scavengers expected an easy capture. Instead, they encountered unpredictability, a hallmark of human strategy. The first wave hit the hangar. Kale, Jarek, and Sprocket moved through the ship, guiding defenses and improvising countermeasures. The scavengers were powerful, but rigid in their tactics. Kale used the ship's corridors, the adaptive shields, and improvised traps to neutralize them one by one. By the time the last scavenger retreated, the team was exhausted but victorious. Kale wiped blood and grime from his hands and looked at the ship. "We're ready," he said quietly. "Not just to defend, but to fight. If we survive this, we can do anything." That night, Kale sat on the bridge staring at the stars beyond the hangar's viewports. The derelict ship now hummed with life. Engines were functional, shields operational, and weapons ready. But more importantly, the AI was awake, and it recognized the human inside it as a worthy captain. "You've done well, Kyle Draven," the AI said.
"Your creativity, it surpasses expectation."
"I can see why humans endure, even against overwhelming odds." Kale smiled. Breath. "Thanks, but this is just the beginning."
You and we're going to show the galaxy what humans can do, Sprocket beeped excitedly, initiating system diagnostics.
"All systems stable. The ship is ready for test flight." Kale ran a final inspection. Every corridor, every console, every system had been touched, repaired, or modified. Human ingenuity had woven itself into every wire, every panel. The derelict warship was no longer abandoned. It was reborn. The next morning, Kale prepared for the first test flight. The asteroid hangar doors opened.
revealing the void of space. The massive hull reflected starlight, a testament to human determination and skill. Kale climbed into the cockpit, Jarek at his side, and Sprocket floating nearby. "Here goes nothing," Kale said.
Engines roared to life, filling the hangar with vibration and sound. The ship lifted, its adaptive shields shimmering as it entered open space.
Kale guided it carefully, testing its controls and monitoring systems. Every response was smoother than expected. The ship moved as if it remembered its former glory, but with a touch of human creativity added. Suddenly, the sensors picked up movement.
Alien ships were approaching faster than expected, scouts from the scavenger faction. Kale's heart pounded, but he didn't panic.
He had learned this. Humans thrive under pressure, and improvisation could turn the tide of any battle. "Hold steady," he said.
Time to test more than just engines. Time to see what humans can really do.
As the alien ships closed in, Kale activated the ship's full defensive suite.
Shields flared, lasers powered up, and the hangar-borne drones swarmed into formation. Chaos met precision. The scavengers had not anticipated human unpredictability. Every maneuver, every countermeasure was designed to exploit their assumptions. The battle was brief but decisive. The alien scouts, overwhelmed by improvisation and raw ingenuity, fled. Kale's ship had survived unscathed, proving that even an old derelict vessel could become a formidable weapon in human hands.
Breathing heavily, Kale leaned back in the cockpit.
"That's more like it," he said. The AI's voice echoed beside him.
"Human, you are remarkable. I did not expect this outcome."
Breath. "You may yet change the balance of power in the galaxy." Kale smiled. "That's the plan." Beyond the asteroid, the void stretched endlessly. The galaxy was full of dangers, rival factions, and ancient threats. But Kale and his ship were ready. The derelict warship was no longer forgotten. It was alive, powerful, and guided by the creativity and courage of a human mechanic. And that was something the galaxy had never seen before. The void of space stretched endlessly before Kale Draven and his massive, newly revived warship. The stars seemed calm, peaceful, but Kale knew better. Out there, beyond the asteroid belt, the galaxy was alive with threats, rival factions, and hidden dangers. And today, Kale's recklessness and ingenuity would be put to the ultimate test. The ship hummed with power beneath him. Every system was alive, every console monitored, every weapon calibrated. Sprocket floated nearby, scanning constantly.
Jarek, the former alien pilot, sat in the co-pilot seat, tense but ready.
"Sensors are picking up movement," Sprocket chirped. "Multiple hostile ships approaching. Scavenger fleet, larger than before." Kale leaned forward, eyes narrowing at the display.
They didn't learn last time, did they?
"They think human luck can't be beaten twice." Jarek snorted. "Luck?"
Human luck? You mean chaos and improvisation?
"It works better than luck sometimes."
KL grinned.
"Exactly."
Let's see how they handle unpredictability. The enemy fleet appeared on the sensors. Small, nimble ships, more numerous than Kale had expected.
They came in waves, their formations tight and precise. They had superior firepower, and yet Kale felt a thrill, not fear. But humans thrived in the unpredictable. Aliens thrived on rules. That would be their weakness. "Prepare the ship," Kale said. Persistent. Shields up, weapons armed. And remember, don't just follow their rules. Make your own.
The first wave hit almost immediately.
Energy blasts streaked across space, targeting the ship's hull. Kale's hands danced over the controls, rerouting power from non-essential systems to reinforce shields. The ship vibrated under the impact, but it held. "Deploy drones," Kale ordered. Sprocket's fleet of small drones surged outward, drawing enemy fire and creating openings. Kale maneuvered the ship with precision, weaving through the barrage in a way no alien pilot could anticipate.
They're faster than last time, Jarek noted, but they're predictable in attack patterns. Kale grinned.
Then let's give them something they won't expect. Using the ship's adaptive systems, Kale initiated an unorthodox maneuver. He twisted the hull sharply, redirecting the energy shields to create temporary blind spots. Enemy sensors scrambled, unable to track the ship's unpredictable motion. Meanwhile, Kale's drones circled behind the fleet, firing improvised weapons that jammed enemy communications. The first wave faltered, and Kale pressed the attack. He had learned the ship's limits during its revival. Engines could handle extreme maneuvers, shields could absorb concentrated fire, and weapons could be repurposed in creative ways. The human mind, he realized, could see solutions that rigid alien tactics could not anticipate. Hours passed, or perhaps minutes. Time seemed irrelevant in the chaos of battle. Kale's ship danced through the waves of enemy fire, striking with precision, defending with ingenuity, and adapting in real time. The alien fleet, confident in their superior technology, found themselves outmatched by human unpredictability. Kale,
Your methods are remarkable, the ship's AI said for the first time, awe in its voice. I did not anticipate such creative problem-solving from a human. Kale smirked. We thrive on surprise. Never underestimate a human.
Sprocket beeped excitedly as another wave of alien ships approached.
Incoming fleet, larger than previous. Probability of success based on previous tactics, low.
Probability doesn't matter.
Probability doesn't matter when you rewrite the rules. Sprocket, give me something new.
The drone hummed, scanning the enemy fleet. Suggestion: redirect shield resonance to create a temporary energy flare. It may blind enemy sensors for 30 seconds. Kale nodded. Do it. The ship's shields pulsed, flaring outward in a burst of energy that momentarily blinded the enemy. Sensors scrambled, formations broke, and confusion spread through the alien fleet. Kale seized the moment, diving between two enemy ships and unleashing a concentrated laser strike. One ship disintegrated instantly, its wreckage drifting into the void. Jarek whistled. Breath. No, human genius. I'm impressed.
Kale laughed, adrenaline surging. It's not luck.
It's imagination. That's what humans have that no alien tech can replicate.
The battle raged on, and Kale's unconventional tactics continued to dominate. He used debris from destroyed ships as cover, led enemies into energy traps, and even used reflected laser bursts to confuse targeting systems.
Every move was improvisation. Every response a demonstration of human adaptability. Yet despite the victory, Kale knew the threat was far from over. The enemy fleet, though battered, retreated into the void. But on his sensors, something more massive appeared. Ancient ships, unlike any Kale had seen. Massive war vessels, their hulls lined with energy conduits that pulsed with power. They were organized, precise, and terrifyingly efficient. They're old. Jarek muttered disbelief in his voice. These ships, they predate even the first human war fleets. This is beyond the scavengers.
Kale's jaw tightened. Old doesn't mean unbeatable.
We'll adapt. We always do.
The AI spoke, calm but serious. Captain, these ships possess technology far superior to anything in the current galaxy. They are capable of complete destruction. Strategy must be flawless, or we will not survive. Kale clenched his fists. Strategy isn't everything. Adaptability is. We'll show them why humans survive. That night, Kale reviewed the battle with Jarek and Sprocket. They examined every maneuver, every success, and every weakness. Kale knew that the ancient fleet would not make the mistakes the scavengers did. They would expect tactics, not improvisation. But humans thrived where others relied on rules and protocols.
Tomorrow, Kale said, pointing at the hololap, we test more than our weapons.
We test our minds. Aliens plan by protocol. Humans fight by instinct. That's our advantage.
We'll use it. Sprocket buzzed in agreement. System modifications are ready for experimental strategies. Probability of success, moderate. Risk, high.
Breath. Kale grinned.
Moderate chance, high risk. Exactly where humans belong.
But the AI spoke softly.
Captain, your courage is unusual. But so is your mind. I detect something extraordinary in humans.
It is resourcefulness, creativity, unpredictability. Kale leaned back in the cockpit, staring at the stars.
It's called survival, he said, and we're just getting started. The first battle had proven one thing. Human ingenuity could overcome overwhelming odds.
Brett.
Even with damaged technology, even against superior numbers, Kale had shown that humans could fight in ways no other species could. But the galaxy was vast, and the ancient fleet's arrival signaled a challenge beyond anything Kale had faced.
The scavenger faction had been a warm-up. Now, the real test loomed.
Kyle spent the next day preparing. He upgraded weapon systems, rerouted power for maximum efficiency, and ran simulations with Sprocket and Jarek. Every defensive system was tested, every maneuver rehearsed. But Kale knew one thing. Improvisation could never be rehearsed. It had to be instinctive, spontaneous, and creative.
By the next evening, Kale's ship was more than a revived derelict. It was a war machine reborn, powered by human determination and ingenuity. Every panel, every wire, every system bore the mark of human creativity.
And Kale, the human mechanic who had resurrected it, was ready to prove that humans were not to be underestimated. As the sun set behind distant stars, the ancient alien fleet appeared on the sensors, massive silhouettes against the void.
Pshh. Their numbers dwarfed even Kale's imagination, and their weapons glowed with deadly intent. Kale's hands rested lightly on the controls. Breath. He glances around. In display. This is it, he said quietly.
Let's show them. Humans don't back down. Jarek gave a determined nod.
We follow your lead, Captain. Let's see what humans can do. Sprocket hovered nearby, its sensors blinking.
All systems operational. Ready for battle.
The ship hummed beneath Kale. Alive, powerful, unpredictable. For the first time in centuries, a human stood at the helm of a warship that could challenge the mightiest forces in the galaxy. And the galaxy was about to see exactly what humans were capable of. The void of space was silent, but the tension aboard Kale Draven's warship was electric. Ahead, the ancient alien fleet hung like a storm of steel and light, their immense hulls pulsating with energy beyond comprehension. The fleet's sensors had already detected Kale's ship. They expected a fight, and they expected the predictable strategies of a human crew. They were about to be wrong. Kale gripped the controls, eyes sharp. Beside him, Jarek's fingers flew over auxiliary panels, adjusting shields and weapon systems. Sprocket hovered nearby, scanning the fleet and relaying data.
They're enormous, Jarek said, voice tight. We can match them in raw firepower. Kale shook his head.
Breath. We don't need to match them. We need to outthink them.
The ship's AI spoke, calm and analytical.
Captain, these vessels operate with unmatched precision. Standard defensive measures will fail.
Suggest unconventional tactics. Kale's grin widened. Breaths. That's exactly why I'm here. Let's rewrite the rules of engagement. He activated the ship's full suite of adaptive systems. Shields pulsed, engines hummed with renewed energy, and weapons recalibrated to unconventional patterns, breaking. Kale had spent days integrating alien technology with human improvisation, creating solutions the fleet could not anticipate. The first wave of attacks came swiftly. Passive energy beams streaked through space, intended to obliterate Kale's ship instantly. He maneuvered sharply, diving through debris and energy fields, his instincts guiding him as much as his experience. Alien calculations failed to predict the erratic movements of a human pilot.
Divert all power to shields,
Kale barked. Then overload the rear thrusters and angle the hull for maximum deflection. Jarek executed the commands flawlessly. The shields flared, absorbing the massive energy blasts, while the hull's angles reflected some of the beams back at the attackers. Breath. Small drones deployed by Kale during the battle swarmed toward the fleet, jamming sensors and creating chaos in their formations.
Captain!
Probability of survival increases with human unpredictability, the AI observed.
Curious. I am beginning to understand why humans endure against superior forces.
Kale laughed, adrenaline surging. Endurance? No. We do more than endure. We improvise.
And that makes us dangerous. The ancient fleet retaliated with precision strikes.
Kale's ship shook violently under the impact, and alarms blared. But he remained calm, relying on instinct, intuition, and creativity, the traits no algorithm could predict. He deployed the ship's energy flares, a combination of modified human and alien tech that created massive bursts of blinding light. Sensors on the alien fleet scrambled. In the confusion, Kale's drones fired improvised EMP charges, disrupting targeting systems. One by one, smaller ships lost control, colliding or spinning out of formation. Now, Kale shouted. He initiated a daring maneuver, diving through the formation of the ancient fleet. Engines flared as the ship twisted and spun unpredictably. Alien sensors failed to track him accurately, and the fleet's attacks missed by mere kilometers. Jarek's voice was tense but awed. Breath. I've never seen anything like this. Humans really are chaotic, and clever. That's what makes us survivors.
The AI's voice softened. Captain, your creativity is remarkable.
You exploit weaknesses no conventional strategy could address. Humans are extraordinary. Kale's grin widened. Thank you. Now let's finish this. He turned the ship toward the largest of the ancient vessels. Its hull was massive, pulsating with energy that could vaporize moons. But Kale had prepared. Using the ship's modular weapons, he fired a sequence of missiles and energy beams in a pattern designed to confuse the alien AI. The barrage targeted critical points simultaneously, forcing the massive vessel to divert shields and lose formation integrity. Sprocket chirped excitedly. Target integrity compromised. Enemy ship destabilizing.
Kale pressed on.
Don't follow patterns. Think, adapt, improvise. The ancient fleet faltered. Their numbers were immense, their weapons powerful, but they relied on rigid strategies. Kale's ship, unpredictable and clever, exploited every weakness. Drones distracted, energy flares blinded, and Kale maneuvered through the chaos with the precision of a master.
Jarek's voice broke through the tension.
Kale, it's working. They're retreating. The alien vessels began to pull back, unable to anticipate the constant improvisation.
One by one, they disengaged, leaving a trail of wreckage and confused drones. Kale's ship remained unscathed, proof that human ingenuity could overcome even the most advanced technology. Exhaled, hands trembling slightly.
We did it, but this is only the beginning.
The AI spoke, almost reverently. Your species, I underestimated you. Resourcefulness, creativity, unpredictability, you are extraordinary. Breaths. The galaxy should not ignore humans. Kale nodded. It won't.
Not anymore. They'll learn.
In the silence after the battle, Kale surveyed the ship. Wreckage floated in the void, remnants of the ancient fleet's might, but his ship, his creation, was intact. It had survived, thrived, and adapted. The derelict warship, once abandoned and forgotten, was now a symbol of human potential. Jarek shook his head in awe.
I've served many fleets, Kale, but I've never seen anything like this.
Humans. You really are something else.
Kale's eyes sparkled. Something else? We're just getting started.
This ship isn't just alive. It's a statement. Humans are survivors, inventors, fighters. We bend what exists into what we need. And no one, not even the galaxy's greatest fleets, can predict what we'll do next. Sprocket beeped happily.
Captain, probability of future threats, high. Probability of survival with continued human ingenuity, increasing exponentially.
Kale chuckled. That's exactly how I like it. The AI spoke, almost softly, as if in awe. Captain, the derelict warship, restored, guided by human hands, may yet become a legend.
Humanity is formidable. Kale leaned back in the cockpit, looking out at the stars.
The galaxy was vast, full of dangers, and full of civilizations far older and stronger than humans. But humans were unpredictable. Humans were inventive. Humans survived where others failed. And Kale, mechanic, innovator, and now captain of a warship reborn, was the living proof. This ship, Kale said quietly, is more than metal and circuits. It's human ingenuity, our spirit. Our courage. And anyone who doubts us will learn the hard way. The derelict ship, now pulsing with energy and life, lifted further into the void, ready for new adventures. Kale's eyes scanned the stars, imagining the possibilities. Uncharted systems, ancient fleets, alien empires. None of it could intimidate him.
Not when humans had unpredictability, creativity, and courage.
The galaxy had witnessed the rise of a human war machine, and it would never be the same again. Far in the distance, faint signals blinked across the void. Messages from distant civilizations, rumors of a new force, a human-led warship that defied expectation and logic. Kyle smiled. The galaxy was watching. Let them come. Rouse. Humans would be ready.
Kale turned to his crew.
Sprocket, Jarek, this isn't just a ship. It's the start of something bigger.
He glances around in despair, something that proves humans can rise to any challenge. Let's make sure the galaxy remembers us.
Jarek nodded. I'm with you, Captain. All the way.
Rocket beeped enthusiastically. Mission parameters. Human ingenuity maximized. Probability of success optimal. Gray. Kale's eyes shone.
Then let's go. Adventure awaits, and the galaxy is ours to surprise.
The ship soared through the stars, engines roaring, shields shimmering, and lasers at the ready. Kale Draven, human mechanic turned legendary captain, had turned a forgotten relic into a symbol of human resilience and ingenuity. The galaxy had underestimated humans for centuries. They would not make that mistake again. Brer. And Cal, he was just getting started.